Hello, Jonathan, and welcome to HMS Tech Talks.
Hi, good morning, Thomas.
Good to have you with us. We're doing this digitally these days since we can't be together in person, but it's good to have you with us, Lisa, for this first on distance HMS Tech Talk. So Procentec is the latest addition to the HMS family, and we're of course very curious to know about the technology, and we'll get to that in a minute. But just to start things off, give me your best elevator pitch. What is it that Procentec actually does?
Okay, thank you for this, Thomas. It's something I really enjoy doing. So for us, Procentec is a Dutch company with over 20 years experience in the field of industrial data communications. We have a specific focus on managing, maintaining and troubleshooting industrial networks. Traditionally, we used to mainly focus on Profibus, but as the market is going more and more towards industrial Ethernet, we've also started to go that way. So we have a focus on Profinet, Ethernet IP, and EtherCAT these days.
Right. If something goes wrong in a factory, what is it that you're actually helping preventing?
Yeah, so basically, more uptime you have, very, very simple, it reduces the cost to our end user. Now, many people only think, well, if the network goes down, that's a cost of downtime, and that's all they take into consideration. But what we're seeing within the automation world, everything's becoming more interconnected. So, for example, one of our big customers is in logistics. If their network goes down, they can't deliver to their customers within that promised period, which has a reputational damage for them. We also have companies that produce steel cylinders, and they sell to the automotive industry. Now, for them in particular, they can't afford any downtime because, as salesmen do, they almost sold their full capacity of what they can produce within 1 year. Now, if their network goes down, it means that they can't provide to their customers. And if they can't provide for their customers, then their customers also cannot manufacture. So the implication for that company is long time, just from a simple piece of downtime or from their network going down from a day or 2 days. It could have far-reaching consequences beyond the actual cost of downtime itself, and may end up costing them business in the long term.
Right. And I guess that also ties into a phrase that you use quite a lot, ease of mind for the network engineer. What is it that you actually mean by that phrase?
So what we understood at Prosentec is that your network doesn't fail every minute of every day. When it does, it's a big problem, but it doesn't happen all the time. So the engineers are not familiar with that troubleshooting process on the network. So one of our customers once told me that they could identify the problem with some machineries by the sounds because it has problems all the time. With the network, you don't have that. So at Procentec, we identified this. So what we understood is rather than giving them data to analyze, we would just give that data as information, which has been pre-analyzed, and will tell you what that specific alarm is. From that alarm, if you click on to what we call Delphi, that gives you the best path of repair for that specific alarm. So the idea is the troubleshooting process of all provided to you with a touch of a button.
Right. Every year we carry out an industrial network market study from HMS, where we see Profinet, Profibus, and Ethernet IP as the leading networks.
Yes.
Is that also your experience?
Yeah, definitely. You see that Profibus was well established and was the field buzz of choice. But what we're seeing now is that Ethernet IP and Profinet are fastly growing, and it's neck and neck really in terms of the growth. We see Profinet is growing faster in Europe, and within North America, Ethernet IP is growing faster than Profinet. But what I think is really important to point out here, that you're seeing this growth and exponential growth of industrial Ethernet networks, whether it be Profinet or Ethernet IP. But what we're seeing is, and one thing not many people touch upon, is the mixed architecture networks. Now, what we're seeing is most companies don't rip out their old field bus networks to add in a new industrial Ethernet network. What they're doing, they're adding to their existing networks. And
Retrofitting, yeah.
Exactly. And then what we're seeing as part of that is that it's giving the engineer, or there's a new demand for a new type of product that allows them to manage multiple protocols with a single solution. So many of our customers, particularly on the Profibus side, are moving towards Profinet.
Right, right. So if we look at the different networks more from a networks diagnostics point of view, what are the greatest differences from Procentec and network diagnostics? What can you do with certain networks that you cannot do with others?
Oh, that's a really good question. For us at Procentec, it's a little different. So I would say for us, it's not really relative. So at Procentec, what we want to do is give solutions to customers that they're familiar with. So it doesn't matter what protocol they're using or what type of network they're managing. With our solutions, they get the same diagnostics and the same information and the same help.
Right.
So whether you're doing Ethernet IP or Profinet or even EtherCAT, we will give you those 3 steps of accessing the data, analyzing data, and giving you the best path of repair.
Right. So if we finish up with looking a bit into the future, what is the new technology that we can expect from Procentec going forward here?
So Prosentec, what you can expect is from our previous launch back in November, we introduced something called Snap Analysis. Now, Snap Analysis utilize machine learning and artificial intelligence, so it can actually read what's happening on the oscilloscope signals, and it can also analyze the message level diagnostics. So we at Prosentec, we say it's basically fit and forget. So if something's happening on your network, within a minute, Snap Analysis would have accessed, analyzed, and told you what is happening on your network and give you the best path of repair. I always use the example of the lights in your car because nobody worries what's happening in their car until they get the light, right?
Yeah.
And with our solutions, it's exactly the same. And the great thing about it is when your oil light comes on your car, it says you're running out of oil, add the oil. Procentec solutions are exactly the same. It will tell you exactly what is happening, and then it will tell you what you need to do before your network goes down. Or, for example, if your car breaks or your tire is flat, it will tell you your tire is flat, change the tire or fix it.
All right, Jonathan, thanks a lot for taking the time for talking to us. Really appreciate it and giving us some insight into the Procentec technology. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome, Thomas. It was really enjoyable for me to speak to you about our solutions and also our company.